Hello, welcome back to Pod Popper's Place. Today we are celebrating Katharine Kelly's 1,000 subscriber milestone. This is a hashtag driven hop, so please check out the hashtag Team Tiny Katharine Kelly 1K. And we have lots of prizes and lots of sponsors on this hop, so please be sure and comment on every stop on the hop so that you have more chances to win. Today I decided to case Katharine Kelly's video from about a month ago where she has the happy hummingbirds and she used colored pencils and Versamark ink. I didn't have any hummingbirds in my stash, so I went ahead and decided to use this new set that I just ordered from Not Too Shabby Shop. It is Sugar Pea Designs and it is To Infinity and Beyond, and I've always wanted to try the background for space kind of look, so I got out my Distress Resist spray, and my spray keeps getting clogged up. I wash it out, I tried to scrub it with hot water, and I thought it would be all good, but apparently it was not. So I just opened the bottle and shook out some drops so that I could get some kind of background on there, and I just set that aside to dry. And I'm pulling out the stamps that I want to use for the design today, and I'm getting ready to stamp them on my white cardstock, and I realize, oh wait a second, this needs to be on black so that you can see this technique that we're going to do today. So as you can see, I'm kind of stuck in my little niche of what I'm supposed to do, and so this is throwing me off a little bit, but I'm excited to try it. So I get my Stamparatus out, and I just got a new pad to put in there, and I need that because these are photopolymer, of course, and so they're not quite thick enough to stamp well. So I get that out and stamp those out, and I stamp them a couple times with the Versamark because the Versamark obviously will dry eventually, and I really need to see those lines well so that I can color in there. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to see the lines very well. I don't have the best eyesight in the world, but they stamped dark enough and I was able to see it and was able to color it pretty well. So the only colored pencils I have are this old Stampin' Up set from ages ago and this other set, but they're both watercolor pencils, and I really didn't think that that would be a problem, that they would just blend well. When Katharine did hers, she had different colored pencils and they seemed to blend really nicely, but I did not find that to be the case with these watercolor pencils. They just did not want to blend with each other at all, and I tried to go over it with the white to give it highlight, and it just it didn't matter. They would just were not working that way. So you know, if you want to try this technique, I definitely recommend not using watercolor pencils. I'm not sure what a better kind is to use. Katharine Kelly used a different brand, so maybe watch her video and see what she used, and that might be a good place to start. I did really like how the lighter colors looked on the black though. It's a really cool technique, a lot different than what I normally do. And I did have a lot of trouble with the skin on the little astronaut boy. I don't know if I just don't have a lot of colors, or it's just because the watercolors just did not want to blend together. I tried to even add some lavender like I've seen Sandy Elnack do for skin tones, and it just did not want to blend at all. So the skin turned out really muddy looking. I wasn't super happy with it, but I just had to kind of go with it for now. I did try to add water because these are watercolor pencils, and on the black background it just disappeared. It was the weirdest thing. It just kind of disappeared, and so I have to come back later and after that dries and just color over it again, and it looked okay in the end. But I would definitely want to get some different colored pencils if I'd like to try this technique again for coloring skin tones. After the Distress Resist spray dried, I used the chalk to just go around and highlight over the little bumps to kind of make them look like stars in the sky and planets with different colors, pinks and purples and blues, and then I use the chalk with the sponge dauber to like fill in the background and give it that kind of hazy out in space kind of look. Some of the dots I stretched out to make look like shooting stars. I really love these sponge daubers from Stampin' Up! For chalk. They work really well to blend everything together, and they are still available, and I've linked that below in the description. And then I use this ink. It's called All-Purpose Ink, Vegas Gold, and I just used a little paintbrush to like spritz some gold in the background so that it looks like a bunch of little stars, because the galaxy is sure full of them. And I will try to find this ink as well and link it in the description for you. So I just recently got some embossing paste from Stampin' Up! With the tools, and I've never used this before, but I've always wanted to, so I thought that the planet stencil here would be a great fit for this paste. So I'm just adding a drop of ink, Stampin' Up! Ink Crushed Curry, to the embossing paste and mixing it up, and making the moon and a couple planets for the background, and then I have to set those aside and let them dry. And I tried to make little like craters in the moon with a little palette knife there, and then try to give each of them some texture and stuff. It's very hard to stay like on the stencil without it going over the edge, so and this is my first try with it, so hopefully it'll get easier. But it was interesting. And then of course I let that dry overnight and just wanted to make sure that they were completely dry before I messed with them again. And then the next day, after they had complete time to dry, I came back and added some over the top of the planets to make them look more like, I don't even know what planet, Mars maybe, and Jupiter, I don't even know, but not Earth, that's for sure. They don't look like Earth at all, so they're probably completely wrong in the sky. But these are technically cards for kids, so they won't know. I had to play with the colors here a lot. I mixed in some red, some cherry cobbler red, and then I mixed in some blackberry bliss because it was a little too red, and then it was too purple for what I wanted for the tiny Mars type planet. And so I added in some pumpkin pie to make it a little bit more orangey. So just fun that you can mix all these different colors together and get different looks, and I really had fun with that. And then I went back and ended up using my embossing gun just to heat those up and get them dried a little bit faster. And I had already cut out the pieces with the die cuts and just figuring where to place these. And I want to use the mini wobblers. I just thought those would be fun. I'd originally wanted to use the rocket ship on there, but it's just kind of small, so it needed to be in the background and not in the forefront, and not up on a wobbler. So I just put the astronaut and his little doggy friend on the wobblers, and glued down everything else. So the galaxy background was already perfectly A2 size, so I just glued it to a card base, and then I left this part in where I just struggle with the sentiment and whether or not to use it as heat embossed with the gold or with the white. And then I end up just stamping it on white with VersaFine. The struggle I was having was that the exclamation point was so close together that it was not showing up as an exclamation point. I just thought it was difficult to read. I still feel like in the end it still doesn't quite show up as an exclamation point, so that was a little frustrating. What would you do here? I'd be interested to know what you would do, or if you just use a different sentiment, which I did think about doing that as well. Also, it's not shown, but I did go back and add some white highlights with my jelly roll pen to the eyes and different places, and then also just add some glossy accents to the eyes as well. I just thought they were really kind of dull and they didn't really stand out. The Versamark just didn't show them well. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like or a comment, and it would be great if you would subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Be sure to check out all the other crafters in the hop and comment for more chances to win.